Hello YouTube, so I have here a Phoenix called SX112D2 subwoofer. It is a Phoenix called subwoofer and not a relatively new brand. It has been in Finland for like 2 years or so, maybe more. It is a new but not the newest brands in Finland. I've actually taken all these rubbery things off from here just to check out everything, mainly the glue stains and everything, top layer thickness and this kind of stuff. I will be explaining most of the features in the subwoofer, and then we'll be checking out some of the excursion videos. It actually does really good excursion, and then we'll be checking the parameters because I did not find any parameters from the subwoofer. So it looks like this. The Phoenix Chord logo actually is pretty bright now there, and this has a little bit of the top surround here is a little bit rubbery. It's not a foam surround, it is rubber surround. Nice glue here. It does not show the glue, but a nice glue landing here. Nice wide dust cap here. Simple logo. It reminds me of like a screwdriver logo, but it is a different one. Mainly the part that it is different. It maybe is a good thing or a bad thing. I'm not really sure. The logos are nice. This one, I'm not really. Tell me in the comment section. Does it look nice for you? It has a really wide suspension up in here. It is actually around 30 millimeters, 28 millimeters, like 28, 29 millimeters wide, and only about 15, I think it was. No, a little bit less. Let's check that out again. So it's around there. So it's around 12 millimeters only in height. So it is really wide, but not that high. And actually this is really driven in subwoofer, so I can test this. If I push it really hard in here, as you can see, it does not deform. It stays really nicely there, and it performs quite well. Now the basket here, the thickness of the basket with these paintings on is around 1.5 millimeters perhaps. It has a nice coating all around it, as you can see from the boot in here. Really nice little texture on here. Actually, I really enjoy this one. It looks like my Volvo. So the glues up in here, let's check them out. There are not many glue stains here, actually really low glue stains here, so I can test somewhere here that it is rubberized glue. It is not the hardest I've seen, but it is okay because the is actually holding really well there, so it's okay. It's not the hardest, it's not epoxy, it's not a CA glue, it is a really soft-ish glue. And then we have down here, you can see we have paper cone that is not pressed heavily, so it has these ridges. If I can show you from here, maybe you can see it from the shadows. Perhaps, no, maybe. Well, now you can see probably. It has some texture on it, really nice looking. Adds some rigidity for the cone here. Then we have probably one set of maybe 2 or 3 suspensions down in here, the spiders. The spiders are in a pack of sort, yellow spiders. As you can see at around the terminals there, it has glue on it, and then it has a little bit, it goes a little bit down, and as you can see it has a nice package there of the spiders, and the tinsel lids go up and down the spiders there. And one thing to keep in mind, as you can see, it has really big holes on both sides on the cone. From the left and right, it has actually, I think it was 4 of those, and it has a RMS of 400 watts. But I thought about it, why it has so big holes in there, but there's something, there's a catch. Underneath here is the only air vents for the underneath the spider to breathe. One in both sides. So it does not have really much room in here to breathe, but it has bigger holes in the cone area here to breathe underneath the dust cap, so it should be okay. It's only a 400 RMS and it has a nice big hole on the back. Now actually this might it be? It might be. Oh, it is. This is nice. So actually I did not find this in Finnish video, but now this is thing that makes a subwoofer a really good subwoofer. You see this mark in here. What does it mean? Probably alignment mark. You have your SX logo here and the nice this thing here, and when you turn it around on this way, oh, I have a bad example here. In this way, you see that your logo is aligned. So if I have my subwoofer connected like so on the wall, when it turns around, you have the logo underneath and the terminals on both sides. So this has been aligned pretty well. So you have you can have every screws made before you install the subwoofers, and every subwoofer will be like this when installed on a wall if you have multiple of them. That makes it really nice, because I really hate people making walls with subwoofers like this, and next one is like this, and next one is like this, and next one is like this. It just looks ugly. When everything is lined up perfect and well, it looks much better. Phoenix Gold, thumbs up for that, really thumbs up. I did not see it. I'm first, when I make these videos, I first take the video in Finnish and now in English. So in Finnish video I did not find that marking, but now I probably will make the Finnish video again, because that is a really good thing, is to find a subwoofer when somebody has made something, thought about it, and not just a cheap factory making subwoofers out, but this thing, little thing, makes it all matter. Now the top plate is quite thick. This is actually a 9, maybe 10 millimeters thick, 40 millimeters thick magnets, 20 plus 20. The back plate is a little bit lower, around 8 millimeters. And then we can see in this video on here, as you can see, the Excursion video, everybody likes some Excursion. This actually has a little bump down in here to allow more Excursion to happen. And as you can see on this clip, it goes pretty wide and high. It says that it has maximum peak-to-peak linearity of 35 millimeters, and I say that's bullshit. That is more than 35 millimeters. That is actually really huge for this kind of subwoofer. This really, it's a 200 euros, so it's not cheap. But the looks of it with everything, these rubbers on, it makes it look like it is more sound quality subwoofer rather than a big beefy high excursion subwoofer. But oh boy, was I wrong. It did quite nicely. I played around 30 Hertz, maybe a little bit higher. The FS frequency with the subwoofer, it should be a little bit higher than the lower 30s or underneath 30. And as you can see, I bumped at around 10 amps inside, so it takes a quite good excursion with low amperage. Now I will be just putting this back on, hopefully getting it here, maybe not wasting your time putting that on. Let's go into next one, which is the parameters. So it has double 2-ohm voice coils, and I will be checking out those parameters. Actually, one quite good feature also in here. The terminals have this kind of plastic thing, so they held quite nicely intact. Some of the subwoofers don't have this, and they have just one plastic in here that makes and breaks sometimes. So this is a really rigid and good solution for those installations. And now I will be connecting this dual, I think it was dual 2-ohm voice coil, just in parallel mode. So positive to positive, then negative to negative. And put some DATS V2 Magic inside and check the parameters. Now I'm expecting a pretty sound quality wise parameters. One thing just to say, I've been actually testing this in SPL format, so testing it with a enclosure of around 80 liters with a 6-inch port, Aero port. So it did around 147, 148 decibels with just 3000 watts, and the car was completely undamped. So we had a taxi, actually our friend coming in, we put the enclosure in, used like 5-meter cables from another car in 3000 watt amplifier, and burp, and checked out how high it went. It went up to 147 with just one single subwoofer at around 44 to 47 Hertz, which was around the frequency of the car, the resonant frequency of the car. So just that keep in mind. It is a sound quality. I keep Phoenix Gold as a bit more sound quality than SPL type of subwoofer, but it does the SPL really easily. So let's change here to DATS V2 and press in here free air measurement. I'm just tilting so I don't block the back hole here. And then we get the parameters from the subwoofer. Some shakiness down in here and down in here will be the table because it was shaking when I measured it. But it has a nice little curve here up to 10 ohm impedance. We have 1.1 ohms, so the voice coil is more than 2 ohms. I can check that out a little bit later here. Just putting these in, and more parameters. As you can see, we have a FS around 34.32. Well, that's not bad. Let's change to back. Hold on, wait a second. Here we go. 34.32. That's not bad. It's a bit more sound quality wise. I think it's not, the suspensions can be a little bit hard at this moment, but they are good for all around daily music. It's not really soft bass. This is when we're talking about high FS subwoofers, they tend to have a bit at around 30 to 40 Hertz subwoofers. If it goes over 40, the suspension is so stiff that it will not play really well. If it lower than 30 Hertz, it is so soft that it cannot control really well the high fast facing subwoofer like drums and the kick drums and this kind of stuff. So this is all around pretty good average value for a subwoofer of around 200 euros. QTS 0.6, QES 0.71, QMS 5.14. Now the VAS is not shown here. I don't have the weights in here and it takes a little bit more time to measure, but if I have to guess, it would be around 50 to 60 liters because of the suspensions in here. Maybe about the 40 liter range, because the suspensions is a little bit harder than the rest of these cheap subwoofers I've been testing with. So back in here, let's test with just one voice coil to check out its ohms, and that should be 2.173 with the same frequency and a bit more higher because I have one voice coil. Actually, it's connected. It should have been taken off like so to get the really better parameters here. They changed not much actually. It was not over short circuiting here. It will do some stuff. But so this was a Phoenix Gold SX112D2 subwoofer. Quite a nice subwoofer for 200 euro range. The looks of it is nice. It has the same feature of many subwoofers, that if this is matte finish, so greasy fingerprints will be shown here really easily, like there is some now. I'm sorry for you to watch my greasy fingerprints on the subwoofer. But what do you like about the subwoofer? Like if you like, dislike if you dislike, and leave a comment what you think about Phoenix Gold in overall. Actually, I'm probably putting this, yes, it was the wrong way around. What do you think about Phoenix Gold? The olden golden days of Phoenix Golds was great, But nowadays they have been making this new stuff, and I have been testing only some of them, so I'm not really sure if it's going the right way or the wrong way. They have been making these cheaper models, cheaper subwoofers, and actually this sounded really nice, even the 8-inch one. And the 12-inch active subwoofer enclosure is probably the best budget subwoofer enclosure. It sounds really astonishingly good for 200 euros with a wiring kit and RCAs and a remote controller and everything. But this is a 200 euro subwoofer, single subwoofer with a quite nice features and quite nice design with a good excursion. So what do you liked? Comment, and what subwoofer will I be testing next? I will be trying to test every subwoofer you suggest, but it only depends on the local shop in here what kind of subwoofers I can get for test. So far I haven't really found one subwoofer that could be a really bad one. Now this definitely is not a bad one. It's actually quite beefy looking subwoofer if you ask me. And I really like this magnet design. You can put this in a photo design to just show the bottom of here. It looks quite beefy and quite nice, and it sounds really good. Thank you for watching, and see you on the next video. Bye bye.